In 907 AD, the mighty Tang Empire crumbled. Warlords carved up the land, armies clashed, and kingdoms rose and fell overnight. For 53 brutal years, China burned in the fires of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms, where only the strongest survived. Born to a battle-hardened military family, young Zhao Kuangyin didn't just learn to fight. He mastered Shaolin's deadly long-fist Kung Fu. His weapon was a whirling iron staff that could smash through armor. While warlords schemed and thrones toppled, Zhao trained, watched, and waited for his moment to strike. Through a decade of blood and steel, Zhao Kuangyin clawed his way up the ranks of the later Zhou army, battle after battle, victory after victory, until he stood at the pinnacle of power, commander of the Imperial Guard. This wasn't just any promotion. The Imperial Guard were the deadliest fighting force in China, the emperor's personal sword and shield. Now their loyalty belonged to Zhao. Thousands of hardened veterans, armed to the teeth, answered to him alone. The stage was set. The throne was within reach. All China would soon bow before the Kung Fu Emperor. In 960 AD, the later Zhou Empire held its breath. A 7-year-old boy now wore the crown, and every warlord smelled blood, except for one man, General Zhao Kuangyin. Zhao didn't want a massacre, so he fabricated a northern invasion, the perfect excuse to march troops out of the capital, without harming the child emperor. At Chenqiao Post, his officers staged their revolt with theatrical flair. They waited until Zhao was asleep, placed the yellow robe, the emperor's symbol, on him, fell to their knees before he could refuse. No bloodshed, no executions, just great acting. Even the child emperor was pensioned off safely. Through the world's most polite coup, Zhao Kuangyin became Emperor Taizu, founding the Song Dynasty. For 2 centuries, China was trapped in a vicious cycle. Local generals became warlords. Warlords fought for power. Emperors became puppets. Zhao Kuangyin had lived this nightmare. Now as emperor, he vowed, "This ends with me." He devised an ingenious solution, one that didn't require bloodshed. At an intimate banquet with his most powerful generals, Zhao played the perfect host. First cup, I owe my throne to your support. Flattery. Second cup, but I can't sleep. What if your soldiers force you to rebel too? Planting doubt. Third cup, why not retire wealthy instead? The offer. Next morning, every general voluntarily retired. In exchange, Zhao gave them lavish estates, royal marriages, and honorary titles. Through this wine banquet trick, generals retired rich instead of rebellious. Then comes the troop rotation system. Soldiers never stayed loyal to one commander, and scholar officials in charge. Pens replaced swords in local government. For the first time in 200 years, China had one army, one treasury, one law, all answering to the emperor. Later struggles against nomads proved his system wasn't perfect. But after 2 centuries of chaos, peace was priceless. Though he came to power through military might, Taizu made a genius realization. You can conquer with swords, but you rule with scrolls. For farmers, he canceled decades of back taxes, construct irrigation project, sent farming boost officers to teach better crops and silk skills. For merchants, he canceled 1,200+ outdated fees on transport. No more curfews and city night markets thriving. Merchants went from looked down on to powerful. Even their kids could now take the elite exams. Within 50 years, rice yield doubled. For the first time in history, Ordinary people could eat 3 full meals daily, including a game-changing late-night supper. Wealth led to culture. Movable type printing made books cheap and common. Schools reached every village, so anyone could study and take exams. This brought a cultural golden age. Song Ci poetry matched Tang poetry, and landscape painting peaked. Riverside scene at Qingming is the Northern Song's most famous painting. No heroes. No wars, just daily life in Bianjing, now Kaifeng. 5 meters long, packed with 800 plus people. 28 shops. 60 animals, even pet dogs. A frozen moment of Song Dynasty life. Let's dive into this 900-year-old street view.